Pesachim Daf Samaches. Today's email comes from Yitzi Hershkowitz from the famous Yitzi Pancakes and Salad Dressing. He says that he works together with Mordechai Sapaznik, and they both go over the shir, they both watch the shir, and they go over the daf together. And he says, Yitzi, that Mordechai Sapaznik is 32 years old and he needs a shidduch. So if anybody knows of a great shidduch, please be in touch with us through email. You should have a shidduch b'karov. So we were discussing the three machnos. There's a machna Shechina, which is the Azara, machna Levio, which is Har Abayis, and machna Yisrael, which is any city that has a wall. The Zav must leave two machnos. He has to leave the machna Shechina and the machna Levio. How do we know this? It says in the pasuk, "V'yetzel mechutza machna," that's one machna, and then it says, "Lo yava yotaycha machna." That means two machnas. So there's a Tana that was sitting in front of Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdimi, and he learned the pasuk, "V'yetzel mechutza machna," is referring to that he's in the machna Shechina. He has to leave the machna Shechina. And he also has to leave the machna Leviyah. So he asked him, Rabbi Yitzchak, it doesn't make sense to say that he has to leave the machna Shechina and he has to leave the machna Leviyah, but he's in the machna Shechina. How can he leave the machna Leviyah if he's in the machna Shechina? Therefore, Rabbi Yitzchak says it's referring to that he's standing in the machna Leviyah. He has to leave the machna Leviyah. He should not go back into the Shechina. We learned in the Mishnah that Michui Kravav pushes off Shabbos. What is Michui Kravav? The intestines, Michui. Tu pshatim. Rav Huna says you make small perforations in the intestines in order for the waste to come out. Chia Barav says that no, you take a knife and you squeeze out, like you squeeze a tube of toothpaste, you squeeze out the waste. As it says in the pasuk, V'chaveris meichim gorim yochelu. The ruins, meichim, is a lashon of bad, like waste. It's talking about the charva is the ruins of the Rishayim. So you see that meichem is waste, it's bad. Who's going to get these charvais? The tzaddikim. They'll inherit from the Rishayim. The beginning of the pasuk says, "V'ro kvasim kedavram." Kvasim, sheep, ro, they'll graze, kedavram. So the Gemara says, kedavram is like we said before in the pasuk. That what? As we said, scharam, the schar of Klai Yisrael will be the charvais. These sheep, referring to Klai Yisrael, will get the ruins. Rava says, but it doesn't make sense because it says vi with a vav, vicharvu. It should say charvu, that's their schar. Therefore, he says like Rav that is exeris shava, the word virahu kvasim, they graze. You see by Eliyahu Navi and Elisha that they were mechayim mesim. So too, all tzaddikim la'as lavai will be able to be mechayim mesim. Rabbi Yonasan also says tzaddikim will be mechayim mesim, but he learns it from a different place, from the famous pasuk oid yeshu uskeinu uskenois. It might be famous for the older people, the old Mordechai ben David song. And it says in the pasuk, "V'ish mishantoi biyadai mishantoi," his staff, and by Eliyahu Navi, by Elisha also there's a staff. Bila hamaves lanetzach, death will disappear. There won't be any death. But the problem is that the pasuk says that someone who dies when he's 100 years old, he'll be a nar. It's like a young person. But there is death. You just have arichas yamim. Gemara says no. That's for Ovid Avodah Akum. They will die. What do you need them there? They take care of Klai Yisrael. They'll be the shepherds. They'll take care of the krumim. Rav Chizah says, the sun will be embarrassed. In other words, it won't give us much light. At the end of the day, the pasuk says that the sun will be 343 times the power it is today. So the Gemara tells us either Lo'ilam Haba, there won't be a sun, but L'maisa Mashiach, which is a different kufa when Mashiach comes, will be 343 times the strength. According to Shmuel, that there's no difference between Olam Hazeh and L'maisa Mashiach. When Mashiach comes, everything will be this exact same. In other words, nature won't change. The only difference will be that we'll have a Beis Hamikdash. We won't be under the power of the Goyim Shiva Machuyos. So he has to explain that when we're referring to Olam Haba, the Machne Shechina, when you're in the presence of the Rebbeinu Shalom, there won't be any sun. But in the presence of Tzaddikim, the sun will be 343 times the strength. Rava asks a question. It says in the pasuk, "Ani omis v'achaya." I can kill people. I will bring people back to live. Machatzti v'ani erpa. I crush them. I wound the people, and I will heal them. But if Hakadosh Baruch Hu could be mechayim mesim, certainly he can heal. And says Rava that the pshat in the pasuk is that the people that he wounds, he heals. The people that he kills, he will be mechayim mesim. It's not pshat that people die and other people live. It's the same people that die, they'll live. Another pshat is that by Tchias HaMesim, people will be will come back to life with the same movement they had. If a person is missing a hand, that's how the Tchias HaMesim will be. Only later, there'll be ani mechatzti v'ani erpa. I will heal that wounded arm. Learned in the Mishnah that Hector Chalavim, putting the Emurim on his back, is Doicha Shabbos, to show us, even though you can do a Motzei Shabbos, Kama Chaviva Mitzvah B'Shaita, how beautiful it is to do a mitzvah in its proper time. We learned in the Mishnah that a wart, according to the Tanna Kama, doesn't push off Shabbos to remove a wart, even though you need it for the Behemoth. There's something you can do before Shabbos. The Mishnah in Eruvin says you could remove a wart by hand. So you can be mechalik. A dry wart, you could take off, a moist wart, not. Or you can be mechalik. If it's with a tool, you cannot take it off. By hand, you could take it off. Rabbi Shua proved in the Mishnah from Yantif that's Doicha, Shabbos, a Malacha D'Oraisa, but not a Shvus, a D'Rabbanan. Rabbi Elazar said, what do you prove me from Yantif? Yantif is to eat for Rishus. What's Rabbi Yeshua going to say? Rabbi Yeshua is going to say, there is a mitzvah to eat on Yantif. In fact, you have to divide Yantif in two. Half the time you eat, half the time you learn Torah. Rabbi Elazar says, you don't have to divide Yantif in two. You can either learn the whole day or eat the whole day. What's machlokes? How you darshan atzeres lashem elokecha. It should be atzeres, it should be Yantif for you and Hashem. Either you need both or one or the other. According to everybody, though, on Shavuos you have to eat. That's how you show your simcha of nesinas haTorah. Shabbos also you have to eat. The karasa l'Shabbos oinig, you have to be misanig. Purim, according to everybody, you need lochem. It's you may mishta v'simcha, so you have to make a suuda. Barber Ravina used to fast the entire year, besides 3 days of the year, which are Shavuos, Purim, and Erev Yom Kippur. As we know, it's a mitzvah to eat Erev Yom Kippur. It's as if you fasted. Rav Yosef on Shavuos used to ask for the third calf, the third born calf. That's the best of the best. And he said the famous line, "Ilav hayomo the kogarim kamo Yosef ike b'shuka." If not for the Talmud Torah that we got in Shavuos, I would be just another regular person in the marketplace. Rav Sheshes used to repeat all of his learning every 30 days, and he used to do it underneath the doorway by the hinges, and he used to say, "Chadoyi nafshoy, my neshama is so happy, my neshama is so happy. Loch karoi, loch tanoi. Because of you, the Torah, look what I accomplished, look what I received." The Gemara says, but the Torah is not for you, an individual. The Torah is for everybody. It says in the pasuk in Lo Berisi Yom V'Layla. Yom V'Layla is referring to the Torah. The world is held up by Torah. Says the Gemara, yeah. You start off for yourself, but you end up helping the world. Have a wonderful day.